Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Fanadian here. I'd like to welcome you all to another video, and today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the Miami Dolphins preseason game against the Atlanta Falcons. Sorry this video is a day late, I just did not have time to get this out yesterday. So, like I said, Dolphins played the Atlanta Falcons, and it was an overall pretty dominant game for the Miami Dolphins. As you can see, they won 37-17, but the Atlanta Falcons did not play any of their starters, so you gotta kind of take everything I say in this video with a little bit of a grain of salt because, they weren't playing against the Atlanta Falcons' best, and you can try and maybe look at this game to see, how things will go when these teams end up playing in the regular season. But I don't think you could really do it because when the teams do actually play, it's going to be completely different when the Atlanta Falcons have dudes like Matt Ryan and Calvin Ridley on the field here. But there are still some things we could take away from this game. And if you are a Miami Dolphins fan, you can still be pretty excited about the results from this game because there were a lot of good things from the Miami Dolphins here. So if we just look at some of the stats here, obviously if you want to look at the box score, scoring by quarter, but onto the stats. Tua Tagovailoa, 16 for 23, 183 yards and a touchdown. Had another really good showing. If I had to describe the way he played, I would say surgical, right? Like the way he was just dicing apart this Atlanta Falcons defense was like very Tom Brady Patriots esque. I could say you could definitely see these like Drew Brees, Russell Wilson hybrid uh, kind of comparisons that people were making to him when the Dolphins first drafted him. Like he definitely showed that movement in the pocket that Russell has, but then being able to just distribute the football like Drew Brees. Overall, just another good performance. Another thing that I like that we saw from Tua that a lot of people have been talking about is he's really embracing that leadership role. That is something I mentioned that might help him out coming in as the guy this year. Being the de facto starting quarterback is it makes it a lot easier to be that leader. And you saw him on the sideline talking to his players, talking to Jalen Waddle and Jakeem Grant, communicating with them. You hear these, reports from Dolphins training camp of him pulling dudes like Austin Jackson to the side and talking to them, and he really is stepping into his role of the leader of the team. So a lot of really nice things from Tua. Look at the quarterbacks here. Jacoby Brissett, 8 for 8, 99 yards, a touchdown. You know, pretty perfect here. Did really good. Jacoby Brissett, I am pretty confident with him being the Dolphins' backup quarterback. And then Reed sent it in here, 2 for 2, 7 yards, and he had that nice touchdown to Kirk Merritt. So really good showing from the Dolphins quarterbacks. If we look at the rushing here, you'll see Malcolm Brown had the most attempts, but Myles Gaskin was the guy that came in at the start of the game as the starter, and he did a really good job, honestly. I was really happy with Myles. Most of his work, I feel like, did happen in the passing game, which is something we have seen from Myles, as he is really good when it comes to, catching passes out of the backfield. So really happy with Myles. It looks like he will be, the Dolphins starting running back. I know there were some questions after last week with Malcolm Brown coming in with the ones, but I feel like we could be pretty safe with saying that Myles Gaskin is going to be the starting running back. But other than that, I think all Dolphins RBs look pretty good. I see Ahmed, he did pretty good. He had some receptions, and then Malcolm Brown did a good job, and the rookie Jared Dokes also did a really good job. I thought he showed quite a bit of potential. He was playing against the backups, but we'll see if he gets more action here in the third preseason game. Other than that, looking at receiving now, Mac Hollins, he has really taken advantage of the Dolphins starting receivers being out. I think this guy has earned himself a spot on this team. I could see him definitely locking up that fifth, sixth wide receiver spot here. Like I said, Myles Gaskin was doing work in the receiving game, had that really nice touchdown reception. Kirk Merritt had that touchdown reception at the end of the game there that came from Reeb Sinnett. Mike Gesicki, he had a couple nice big catches as well. Jalen Waddle got involved. That was something I really wanted to see. We didn't get to see any completions to Jalen Waddle in the first preseason game. In this one, it looked like they made getting him targets like something they really wanted to do. You saw them go to him constantly in that first quarter, and he did a good job with those passes. I like the way they used Jalen Waddle. I think we could be pretty excited about him. He had that really nice jet sweep where he got a first down. That was something I was excited to see because we didn't see too much. Well, every once in a while they might bust out a little trickery last year with the old offense, but we're starting to see a lot more of that stuff with the new offense, seeing people moving in motion a lot more. Other than that, here Hunter Long had one reception, which is really nice. You might be like, oh, one reception for you, 4 yards. Is that really worth talking about? But this guy we thought 2 weeks ago had a season ending injury, and he was in the game playing. And honestly, even though he only had this one reception, I thought he did a good job just because he was actually bodying people when it came to blocking in the like run blocking game. He was moving bodies, so that was a really good sign from the rookie to see him out there. They don't show any of the defensive players here on MiamiDolphins.com. I really wish they would because one guy we have to highlight. Sorry if I pronounce his name wrong. It's Samu Guevin, the linebacker. He had an amazing performance, 4 sacks, 10 tackles, and a safety. He just took over this game, and that's really something great to see for him because he is one of the guys that was competing for, one of the spots on the 53-man roster. I don't get how he could not lock one up after this performance because the Dolphins starting linebackers are pretty locked in, with Jerome and Benardrick McKinney, Andrew Van Ginkel, and Jalen Phillips, the rookie. But those backup spots were wide open, and I think Ugueven has one locked up here. He is one of the guys I am rooting for. I've mentioned this before. All the players who were those like 2019 diamonds in the rough that joined the Miami Dolphins during the tank season, I'm rooting for those guys extra just because I feel like if Miami does become a dominant team, it would be pretty cool if a lot of those guys were those 2019 players that they first picked up. He originally came from the CFL. If you know something about Miami when it comes to CFL pass rushers, they got Cameron Wake from the CFL, who was probably the best Miami Dolphins player from the last decade. So it would be nice if Samuel Levitt could come in here and just start beasting out. We'll have to see what he does against some more starters. He was getting rotated in with the starters in this game, so you know we'll want to be watching what this guy does over the next few games here to see how much more he could contribute. But overall, really nice performance from the Miami Dolphins offense. I was really happy with it, and the Miami Dolphins defense as well. So some other thoughts and things that I want to mention here. The offensive line performance, much improved from last week. Obviously, there's a big difference going against the Bears defensive line and the Atlanta Falcons backup defensive line. I feel like this third game that they're going to have against the Bengals will be a pretty good one because they really struggled against a really good defensive line and they did really good against a not so good defensive line. But I was really happy with Robert Hunt's performance in particularly. He has looked good over both games, so a lot of people were saying Robert Hunt, out of all the rookie offensive linemen, is the one to be, the most excited about coming into the season. And so far, over these two preseason games, he has shown it. Rookie offensive lineman Liam Eichenberg got his first action. He came in the second quarter. He played right tackle, and he also looked really good. Him and Robert Hunt were actually doing a great job double teaming people and moving bodies and creating a lot more holes in their run game, something they really struggled with in that game against Chicago. So that is something that would be nice to see if they continue to improve upon. I thought Michael Dieter at center did a good job as well, which is something you love to see because he really struggled at guard in his rookie year and didn't play at all in his second year when they started converting him to center. So now if he could come in and be a legit starting center for the Miami Dolphins, that is just a great sign for the team when it comes to, developing players and showing they can do it. And it would just give me a lot more hope for all these young offensive linemen where even if Kinley and Jackson are struggling a bit, I just would have more hope that they could eventually do what Michael Dieter did and become, really good starting offensive linemen in the future. Offensive linemen usually do take 3 years through 4 years to develop. So if Dieter could come in here year three and just start beasting out, that would be great for this team. Like I mentioned, defense played great overall. Got a lot more pressure this game, something they didn't do against Chicago. Would love to see them do that. I would love to see this defense be able to generate pressure without having to blitz all the time. That would just help out the secondary a lot, which is, which I've mentioned before, one of the main strengths of this team. We saw in that fourth quarter backup linebacker Kelvin Munson with the pick, which helps set the Dolphins up for that easy touchdown. So that was a great play from him. Even if he doesn't end up on the Dolphins 53-man roster, being able to make a play like that might help him, end up on another team, right? Because teams aren't just watching their own team in the preseason; they're watching every team. Next week, when cut week happens and we see the teams trim down to the 53-man rosters, we're going to see a lot of players move around from NFL team to NFL team. Jalen Phillips, the rookie first rounder, also got his first action in this game after being injured for most of the offseason. I shouldn't say offseason, most of training camp. I thought he played really solid, right? He didn't have any big sacks or anything like that, but watching him play, he was just constantly in the backfield of the Falcons, just being a menace, going after running backs, and it honestly looks like they were kind of avoiding him and purposely always trying to, run to the opposite side of the field that he was on, throwing away from him. I did want to know how they would use him because they did list him as a linebacker, and it looks like he's pretty much exclusively going to be a pass rusher. I think he did drop into coverage a couple times, but mainly going to just be used as an exclusive pass rusher kind of guy, kind of that hybrid extra, pass rusher when we're in the third five nickel defense here. Other than that, I said I liked all RB's performance. Mike Gesicki, I liked his performance. Him and Tua seem to have a really nice connection, and I really hope that they do sign this guy to an extension because I feel like this guy has the potential to be great. If you watch my MVP video, you would know I picked Mike G to be the Dolphins' offensive MVP this year. So we'll see if he could keep on, keep on keeping on with having good performances. I feel like if they do extend them, though, it is probably going to happen after cut week when they know just exactly how much cap they're going to have and who exactly they're going to be working with here. If I am Adam Shaheen, I would be, a little worried after seeing this Hunter Long performance just because he is going to be one of the people on that list, I feel like, especially because he refuses to get vaccinated. And other than that, I feel like I pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about. Really, defense, special teams, offense all played good. This was a really good showing for the Dolphins. I think this next game against the Bengals, that'll be a pretty good showing depending on how much of the starters we see. We have no idea with this being the third preseason game and this being the first time there's only 3 preseason games. All teams are approaching it a lot different. I'm seeing some teams that haven't started their starters at all are talking about starting them in game 3, and I'm seeing some people saying maybe there shouldn't be any starter action in preseason game 3. We have all no idea. We'll just have to wait for next week. But overall, those are just pretty much all my thoughts on the game and what I thought I would happened. Overall, really happy with the performance. You guys let me know in the comments. If you like this video, leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see more Dolphins content. And until then, thanks for watching everybody, and hopefully I see you in the next video.